What's up, guys? First video for the shop portion of the Bishop & Son Speed Shop. I've done a lot of racing videos so far. I have one interesting vehicle behind me, to say the least. It's pretty awesome, actually. I'm just going to show you the colors, and I think you can lead to your own assumption what college football team this is for. As you can see, pretty big. OG Land Cruiser Chevrolet 350. Runs pretty good. I've done some work on this in the past. I've put a B&M shifter in this thing, a gated shifter. This thing is awesome. It is, as an Alabama fan, it is hideously ugly, but it's set up right. It's got a lot of amps under the seat, custom stereo all throughout, powder coated cage. It's pretty nice. Everything's loaded down, rhino lined on the inside. It is a pretty nice rig. Not my cup of tea as far as a color choice, but hey, like I said, 350 runs pretty good. Starts to bog a little bit. Around 40 miles an hour. It might be, when I first got this thing, the TV cable was not adjusted properly at all. I adjusted it, made some timing adjustments, and seems to run a lot better. I put the shifter in at the same time because the shifter that was in it was just garbage. I think the TV cable being a little loose might have damaged the transmission in overdrive. But we're gonna see what we can do. I'm gonna mess with this carburetor. I think that's kind of half our battle. It's just chugging some fuel in there. So we're gonna mess with it a little bit and see what we can figure out. Got a couple pumps. Fired right up for the most part. She is cold natured, so. She's not completely cold. Not real cold revs. You see my breath? It's cold. It's like 20 degrees in my shop and probably like 18 outside, so it's cold. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but got the torpedo heater going. Gotta be warm. It's 20 degrees in Alabama. That's flipping cold, guys. Anyways, so fuel line coming in, tees off to go to each of the double pumpers. So I'm going to take this off, tee it. This is not going to be connected. I'm just going to cycle the fuel pump and test and see what kind of fuel pressure we got coming into the carburetor. Then I'm going to take the carburetor off and clean it. But there's just so neat the guys to set up. Obviously I've got a little catch rag. I'm sure I'm going to dump a little bit of fuel out, so hopefully not too bad. Okay, new plan. Not going to tee it off because my hands are freezing and they hurt. And I can only get one line off. So, new plan. Here's what we're doing. Just digging it off straight into the gauge there. Going to go cycle the key. See what kind of fuel pressure we get. Again, this should be in the 5 to really no more than probably 9 range for a carburetor setup. So let's check it and see where we're at. What do we get? About a 5. Looks to be good. No leaks. Nope, no leaks. to diminish. Okay, good. So that's right where we want to be. So now I'm going to get started pulling this carburetor off and check and see how dirty it is. All this nice ethanol fuel we got. Alright guys, hope you can still hear me. This thing has seen better days. It's not incredibly dirty. I've definitely seen a lot dirtier. But you can tell that the bowls just sit with fuel and get gummed up. So it does definitely need to go through, be cleaned. I haven't taken the other side off yet. I'm sure it's the same. So what I'm going to do is go through here, brake clean, clean it, take these out, clean those, go through the whole thing. Don't have a carb kit or anything, so just kind of basically spray everything down, shoot it with some air, and see if that changes anything. It does have a kind of, she's cold natured, I'll just say that. She's real cold natured, as am I. So we will clean this up, throw it back on, see how she does. Alright, this side, way different. Way worse looking. A lot more sediment. So, this probably has a lot to do with our problem, but I'm going to clean it nonetheless. Okay. Got her back on there, cleaned up. Man, that thing was way dirtier than what I was thinking. So this probably is quite a bit of our problem. So going to get in here, cycle the fuel pump, and actually hooked up the electric choke that was not hooked up for whatever reason. Maybe it'll not be as hard to start. So probably gonna take a second to get cranked. No fuel up there. Come on, baby. Got Eye of the Tiger playing in here. How fitting. Cohen.
Sir?
Close that pneumonia hole.
What's the what?
Pneumonia hole.
What do you mean?
The door. Okay. Don't want to run. Did you see that? Alright guys, sidetrack. Got to mess with FJ. Took the rear shock off Cohen's race bike. the e-bike. Going to get the reservoir filled and get the needle system replaced with just a Schrader valve cap. But last minute, his buddy Ryder, his dad's going to take his suspension, get redone. He said he's going to take mine and ship it with it. So I got to hustle to go meet Ryder's dad. So we'll get back to the update. We are again meeting Ryder and Casey, dropping off Co's rear shock to get rebuilt. So taking a little shock truck. Rebuilt, and he's going to send off his entire suspension to his new 60 bolt to get revalved and everything for Ryder's weight. Ryder's a hefty 70 something pounds. We measured Co, and you remember what you weighed? 55 pounds.
Yeah.
Very, very dense 55 pounds. So his shock should be set up for that. So we're just going to do kind of slight rebuild if we need it. And like I said earlier, getting rid of that valve bladder system thing. I don't know anything about suspension. I'm trying to learn. So and setting it up for a Schrader valve system to where it doesn't leak every time you have to charge it. So catch you guys with Ryder and Casey.
Hey guys, we're pulling up. See, look. We're at the Home Depot. That's what it says. I have no idea why it has a the. I wish it was Home Depot. That's the whole thing,
And
not
because
the.
it's not a Home Depot, it's the Home Depot.
Yeah. I'm way over here. Hey guys.
What's up, Ryder?
Hey, Kip. Hey, Kip. Heavier than I remembered.
If you want them, you have them. Not today. Back on the Land Cruiser, finally. Wrapped up on the F-150, so go check out that video. That'll be out soon. Got some inconsistent readings kind of off camera on the fuel pressure for the little clicky-clack electric fuel pump. So got a new one. Can't go wrong with a Mr. Gasket. So and this actually comes with a new inline fuel filter. So kind of two birds, one stone. I'm gonna throw this on. They're cheap enough. They're normally anywhere between $50, $75. So got this one, gonna throw it on. Should be simple wire up just like the other one is. So I'm gonna hop under there, throw that in there, check the fuel pressure again and see where we're at, and see how much fuel I can get in my armpit. All right, show you guys what I'm working with. This is the little inline, I call it a clicky clack fuel pump. So whenever you turn the key on, it just basically has constant pressure. It should. These are designed for small carbureted engines. This is a Holly unit. Looks to be a good unit. I mean, it's probably just a little old, and if you run ethanol fuel, here's a big fuel cell in here, but if you run ethanol fuel carbureted engines, let it sit up in this pump, it'll just slowly deteriorate. These pumps are not designed to be run, you know, forever. But the new pump we got is very similar. Should bolt right in, should wire right in. This is the inline filter I was telling you about. So I'm just going to replace all this just to rule everything out, and definitely go ahead and take a look and see what that filter looks like inside. Ethanol fuels, again, for carbureted engines, just the worst. This thing has 290 something miles on it since that engine was put in, so that's probably half the battle. This guy just never really drives it, and that's fine, but something like this, you really need to run non-ethanol fuel. So I'm going to replace this. I need to pinch this line off as best I can. It's just a rubber line, so I'm gonna pinch it off as best I can, hopefully not mangle it, so don't get fuel down my arm, into my armpit, down my freaking pants, wherever the fuel wants to go. So I'll bust this out real quick and I'll show you when I'm done. Man, I don't know if you can see it, but that fuel coming out of that line Look how brown and nasty that is. Whenever I first grabbed this pump, took this pump off, the fuel that come out of this thing, wow. I wish y'all could have seen it. I wish I had it on camera. I don't know why I took the camera, turned it off, but so I'm a little worried. That's probably part of our issue, definitely with the inconsistent fuel pressure. It's probably that fuel filter. I'm really worried about this tank though. That's a very flattering angle. Worried that this tank may be pretty nasty. Sitting up like this and then a steel tank, if it has any moisture in it and it just sits, not good. So this one inline filter, probably not gonna be enough. So I might see if I can find another place to splice in another inline filter just to have a secondary line of defense before it makes it in the carburetor. So that's a decent carburetor, and they're kind of expensive. Anytime you buy a carburetor, you're talking minimum $450, $500 for a good carb. So definitely don't want to ruin a carb or have to constantly rebuild it. So I'm going to take a peek at that if I can, get this wired up, and then retest that fuel pressure. See if we get a little more stable fuel pressure. On the video, the clip before, it was steady there for a second, but if you let it sit there for 20-30 seconds with the key on, it'll go 5, 6 psi, 2 to 3 to 5 to 6 to 3 to 2, 1, 2, 6, whatever. It constantly stays kind of up and down within a 2 to 3 psi range without it even running, just key on. So hopefully this will at least solve the issue temporarily. Hopefully this tank doesn't ruin it. So I'm gonna throw this back in there after I take a look at that pump, and we'll retest. Oh my goodness, guys. That's not good. All that rust. If that's coming out of the outlet side of the fuel filter, it means it's making it into the pump, making it past the pump into the carburetor. And that stuff right there, I mean, that's rust all day long. I don't even need to look in that fuel tank. I know what's in it. That's not good. All right, guys, got this one wired up. About to crank it up, make sure everything works, no leaks, and then we'll move on to retesting fuel pressure up by the carburetor. One thing I did notice, a lot of this thing probably rides like a dump truck. Check this out. Wow. These shot bushings are non-existent. Thing is loud. Way louder than that Holly pump. Alright, see what she can do. I'm gonna leave it on and check. Looks to be holding pretty solid for now. Let's give it a shot. let's do an honest to God cold start. First thing in the morning, Saturday. 1, 2. Way better. Way better. Alright, I got this thing on dollies, so I'm going to get it off the dollies and go for a test drive. See how that goes. Go from there. Way better already. Why are you dying on me? Why are you dying on me? Why are you doing that to me? Love this thing. Did awesome all day yesterday in the shop. Idling for forever, in and out of gear. Alright, cleaned out the new filter. there at 40, 45, low RPM, chugging along. It wants to shudder really bad. This thing is just runs good. Right at 40, you just need to downshift to third. This ratchet or gated shifter is pretty fun to drive that way anyways. It sounds good. Once you get past 45 or 50, make her in overdrive and she's okay, but these big old tires on this thing, I think it's chugging too much at 40. It causes that shudder. I could maybe put some of that Lucas oil stuff in it. I've seen that stuff work miracles. It works good. I have it in my own shop truck. But I'm not going to be able to fix that for them. But the running issue we had earlier with the carburetor, it just feels like it's running out of fuel. That seems to be good now. I banged out the filter a little bit. Seems to be running okay. This carburetor, it's had so much of that rust go through it, I'm a little worried that it still has some trash in it that I didn't see. Needs a Holly sniper kit on this thing. That's what it really needs. That would be cool. Fuel injection, self-learning, tuning. That'd be killer on this. But that's kind of expensive too. That's probably $2 grand just for the kit. That would be really cool. We're on a 20-minute drive here, 20-25 minutes. Hadn't died on me yet. Idling good. It's just that overdrive shudder. I'll check you guys back at the house. All right, new day. Got some rough country shocks in. So gonna open these up, make sure everything fits, and gonna throw them on the FJ. Bet this thing is gonna ride so much better. Actually having all the bushings on the shocks and actually a new shock to where it's not just nice and loose. So let's unbox them and get it put on. Yeah, not only are these gonna ride much better, but man, he's gonna look way better. Throw these on. See the rough country through everything. They can look pretty good. Couldn't ride worse. So I'm gonna get the shop truck out of the way, scoot the Land Cruiser over, and get started on it. This shouldn't take too long, so it'll be a nice little easy job to knock out. Just want to give you guys a little glimpse of how bad this thing rides. I mean, literally no bushing left. All four of them are like that, and man, I can't wait to see the big difference this thing's probably gonna ride like. This is gonna be crazy. All right, got the shocks in the front knocked up. Like I said, way better looking. But even more important, the immediate concern was obviously the lack of bushings. Stays put. Shocks are supposed to dampen the compression and rebound of suspension. This does neither of that. So needed it regardless. So now let's move on to the rear. All right, guys and gals, that wraps up shocks on this thing. Always remember on suspension components, try to mark things whenever they're tightened and go back and periodically check them. They will, suspension settles, so a lot of times they'll tend to back off a little bit or something like that. So make sure you torque them, make sure you mark them, then always go back and check them. And it's an easy reference point. You can just poke your head under there most times and see if the mark's moved. And if you need to go back and retorque, just go back and retorque. Simple as that. So get this wrapped up, cleaned up, test drive. Front wasn't too bad. Had to take a little bit of steering off on the driver's side to be able to reach the bottom bolt for the shock, but I bet this thing is going to ride completely different. Definitely less noisy now that it has bushings, but probably a whole lot better now that it actually dampens some of the road. So let's go give it a test drive, wrap it up, and I think I'm at a stopping point for this. The carburetor seems to be working very well now. Driving pretty good. Like I said, a little bit of overdrive shudder. You get past the low 40 mile an hour mark. Everything seems to be good. I put some of that Lucas Oil transmission additive in there. That may help over time since it's just a slight shudder, something that's probably just started developing, so it may take care of that. Time will tell on that. So pleased to get this thing wrapped up for the customers, the returning customers. So glad to have them in the shop. Glad to get it back to them. Who has two thumbs and forgot to turn the camera on? This guy. So short test drive after the shocks. Night and day difference. This is like a different vehicle. It's awesome. Doesn't bump steer near as bad, never near as noisy. Like I said earlier, it has bushings in the shocks now, so that's nice. None of the shocks work. Front, rear, both of them. Push them down, they just stay right where they're at. You pull them out. Some of them are even kind of rusty on the shafts of it, so you start pulling out and get kind of stuck, kind of coming out of the body of the shock. So way better. Very pleased to give this back to the customer in a much better driving condition than what it was when he dropped it off. So let's wrap this up and get on to the next repair and build. Got a little dirt on my face. Yeah.